We're going to do some sample problems on chapter 1-5 on how to do inequalities. Just right out of your book on page 34 and 35. First one we have here is, let's change that, okay? Alright. 7x minus 5 is greater than 6x plus 4. That's our original equation or inequality. So let's solve it. Okay? What we'd like to do is get our x's together. We've got a positive 6x over here. What do we need to do to get that over to this side? Well, we could add a negative 6x to both sides. So let's try that. 7x minus 5, subtract 6x is greater than 6x plus 4, subtract 6x. It's the same thing as add a negative 6x both sides. Okay? Let's combine like terms, simplify. It's positive 7x, negative 6x. What does that leave? 1x. We don't have to put the 1 and subtract 5. It's greater than, got a positive 6x, negative 6x. They take each other out to 0, and we're left with 4. What do? Simplify. Next thing we'd like to do is get the x by itself over here. We've got a negative 5. How do we get rid of that? Well, we'd like to make this 0. Okay, so what's the inverse of negative 5? It's a positive 5. So we're going to add a positive 5. Plus 5. What we do to this side, we have to do to the other side. Whoa, not a 4. We're going to make that a 5. Okay? Let's simplify that. Negative 5 and a positive 5 is going to make 0. Okay? Simplify that. 4 plus 5 is 9. All we did was simplify. Let's graph it. Let's draw our number line here. Positive 9. So, put some numbers on here, some marks. You're not exactly even. Let's put a 0 here. That makes this one negative 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa. Didn't do that very well, did we? Let's erase that and try again, okay? Have to be slow with this eraser or else it won't do what I want it to. Okay? Alright. Put my marks a little closer together, don't I? Okay, let's draw that number line again. Okay, let's put our 0 right here. That makes this a negative 1, negative 2. Let's make this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, how do we get started on this? Well, x is going to be greater than 9. We have this number right here, so let's locate this on our number line and let's put a circle around it. Right there. Now, do we want our solution, can x equal 9? I don't see a little bar here. It says x has to be greater than 9. So, we're going to leave this circle open because the open circle says, wow, we can come as close to 9 as we want to, but we can't get there. We cannot equal 9. And that's how we show that the solution does not include 9, but it comes as close as possible. Now, we want to draw some lines where x is going to be. Is x going to be over here to the left of 9, or is it going to be to the right of 9? Well, it says greater than, so it has to be bigger than 9. The part that's greater than is going to be to the right. So we're going to shade this in over here on this side. And this is a graph of that solution on a number line. Open circle around the 9. Shade that, and it's going to go all the way out to the right. Okay? Second solution, second sample we're going to do. Negative 25 hundredths is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, that's our original. Let's start, need to put a variable in there. Let's put a y right there. That will work a whole lot better. Okay? So the way this works is we've got this coefficient, this negative coefficient that's messing up this y. We really would like to get rid of that. How in the world do we get rid of a coefficient in front of a variable? Well, this is implied multiplication, so let's divide by the coefficient. That would make that an identity. Okay? And that would create an inverse, which would make that equal to 1. So let's try that. Negative divide by negative. Now, when we divide by negative, the division property of inequality says if we divide by a negative, we have to flip this around. So what we've got to actually do is we have to change this to less than or equal to. Okay? So let's look at that. We've got this symbol here changes to this because we have divided both sides by a negative. Alright? Remember that. Divide both sides by negative 25 hundredths. Now let's simplify that. Negative 25 hundredths divided by negative 25 hundredths. Anything divided by itself is equal to 1. That's going to leave us with a y less than 2 divided by negative 25 hundredths. Okay, we can simplify this part. That's going to leave us with y is less than or equal to. Take your calculator and do that. Don't forget the negative. That's going to make this side negative 8. Alright, let's draw our number line. See what we can do with this. Okay, let's put our 0 here. That makes this 1, 2, 3. It's going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11. Okay? Now our solution is a negative 8. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a circle around negative 8. There it is. Now, how close to that negative 8 can we come? Can we equal negative 8? Or can we just come really close to it? This little bar says y can equal negative 8. So instead of it being open, we're going to shade that in right there. Okay, make that solid. And that says y can actually equal negative 8. Now, what side of negative 8 are we going to be on? Are we going to be on the side that gets larger? Or are we going to be on the side that gets smaller? It says y is smaller than negative 8. So we're going to be on the left side. So we're going to shade in like this. There it goes. Alright? What do we do right here? Simplify. Okay? Our second example. Let's do our last example. The last example is negative m less than, equal to, m plus 4 divided by 9. Now, what we'd really like to do is like to get rid of this division by 9. It just sort of messes things up. How in the world can we get rid of division by 9? Well, division by 9, what happens if we multiply by 9? Let's try and see. So let's multiply this by 9. Let's multiply both sides by 9. That would be 9 times negative m less than equal to m plus 4 divided by 9 times 9. Well, this really is a 9 over 1, isn't it? Okay? What happens here? We've got a 9 in the numerator. Over here, we've got a 9 in the denominator. It's multiplied. This simply goes away and changes to a 1. No, we didn't divide. We did what? We multiplied. Okay? Let's simplify. This becomes negative 9m less than equal to what? M plus 4. Okay? Simplify. Alright. We've got m's on both sides, don't we? Got a positive m over here. We've got 9 negative m's over here. It'd be really nice to get this m over here. This is a positive. So what happens if we add a negative to it? That would be an inverse. That would take care of us, wouldn't it? So let's do it. Negative 9m plus a negative m less than equal to m plus 4 minus m. Add negative m both sides. Okay? Let's combine. Negative 10m less than or equal to positive m, negative m. We're left with a 4. Simplify. Next thing we like to do is got this negative 10 over here. We really would like to get rid of that and leave it by itself. So what would we do? We would divide by negative 10 just like we divided by negative 25 hundredths in the last problem. So let's do it. Negative 10m less than 4 divided by negative 10 divided by negative 10. What's going to happen? This right here is going to divide out and leave us with a 1. This right here is going to come out and it's going to leave us with a 2 divided by negative 5. So let's simplify. M is less than or equal to negative 2/5. Don't forget this negative, okay? Because you'll be in a mess. Alright? So let's graph that. Put a graph up here. I think we can do that here. We're going to put our 0 right here. We're going to put a 1 right there. A negative 1. And we're going to put a 1 right there. Now we're going to divide this into 5 pieces. Okay? So this right here is a negative 2/5. Alright? Solution is a negative 2/5. So we're going to put a circle around that solution. Okay? Now tell me, can we include the negative 2/5 in the solution? Does this say equal? Or does it say not equal? It's got the bar, that means equal. So we're going to fill this in because we can include that negative 2/5 right there, can't we? Now, we did something wrong, didn't we? Because what happens when we divide by negative 10? What happens to this right here? We have to do what? We have to change that to what? Why? Because we divided by a negative 10. Okay? Don't forget to do that, because if you do, you're going to have a wrong answer. This has to be greater than or equal to. So what are we going to do? Greater than means we're going to go to the right. L is going to go this way. Greater than or equal to. Okay? So that's how we would graph that one. Down here, what do we do? Both sides by -10. And then simplify. Okay? 3 samples. How to solve inequalities.